Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There are some strange doings in Westminster at the moment. Ian Blackford is looking around, hunting, snuffling like a pig looking for truffles. This particular prize that he's after seems to be something that the SNP don't really like. By convention, they don't accept nominations to the House of Lords. They consider it to be a corrupt, undemocratic hallway filled with people who are put there simply on the whims of parties because they have shown loyalty over the years, and so they don't like it. There's also the fact that it being the House of Lords and they want a republic, it kind of goes against the grain. But it seems that this is only party convention. There's actually nothing stopping any individual member being, nominated and accepting a position in the House of Lords. And it appears that that is what Ian Blackford is after. Lord Blackford of Greggs, perhaps? Who knows? But this particular little snuffling piglet seems desperate, it seems, for a place in the Lords, so that he can continue drawing about £100,000 a year for doing sod all, much as he is right now. Let's have a look. Now, this is a claim, of course, by Joanna Cherry, and she's one of the few on the SNP side that I actually do like. She has a sense of humour. She's a very intelligent woman. Makes you wonder why she would join such a joyless bunch of morons as the SNP. She's clearly far better than that. And I mean that genuinely. I do think she's far better than the party she's joined. But she joined it nonetheless. But anyway, a little bit of scintillating news. It's getting on in the afternoon. I thought we could lighten the mood. Ian Blackford wants a peerage after sparking SNP Lords debate, claims Joanna Cherry. She really is stirring the pot, isn't she? Cherry made the comment in response to a story in which the former SNP Westminster leader said the party should have representation in the House of Lords. And as I say, by convention, they don't. They dislike it. But I think he's resigned as an MP. He wants to do. He would. Well, we did the story yesterday where it may be that he may want to go to Holyrood and stand there as an MSP. But of course, that would require far more work. He'd have to sort of parachute him into an easy seat at a time when there may not be that many easy seats given the polling. And so I think he's going, how else am I going to pay for my possible upcoming divorce after playing around potentially and maybe allegedly with my secretary? And of course, the price of Greggs isn't going down anytime soon. He needs to be kept in those pies on a regular basis. So if he can find some little sinecure where he can get a lot of money, 100k a year, not too bad, do nothing, turn up, have a little snooze, maybe join in the debate if it's something interesting, price of pies or something. And then, relax, go back to sleep again, then get up in the evening and drive home. Go home on the train, first class, all paid for, lovely. And that sounds to him a lovely little job for a semi-retired humble crofter. And of course, he doesn't have to do anything for it. And if he does that, he doesn't even have to work. It's marvellous. It's a lovely little way to spend the rest of your life because, of course, you're there for life. There's no limit, no term limit. You can give it up if you want, but hey, why would you? Anyway, a senior SNP MP has claimed Ian Blackford wants a peerage, going against, of course, all the party rules. And this was after he suggested the party should change its position on the House of Lords. Please change your position of the House of Lords and let me be a Lord. Yes, okay. Anyway, Joanna Cherry made the comment in response to a story in which the former SNP Westminster leader said the party should have representation in the upper chamber. Blackford had joked at a recent event with student journalists in Westminster that his views may get him into bother and that he did not rule out accepting a peerage if offered one. That indeed would cause a lot of consternation in Holyrood. How dare Ian Blackford take the peerage? Doesn't matter, he can take it, he's entitled to it. If his party nominate him, he's entitled. However, he can also get one without a party nomination. The parties, I can't remember what the number is, but there is a certain number, sort of brownie point system, where every party is entitled to so many peerages per year, can be nominated, etc. And assuming that there's no sort of qualification fail, there's certain things you can't be made a peer if you've done. But assuming that they've passed that, there's no limit, basically. Well, there's a limit on numbers, but there's no limit on who it can be as long as they pass. But they're entitled to so many options and nominations based on numbers in the House. Now, currently, of course, they've got quite a few. They probably get 2 peerages, given that they haven't had any for some time or something like that. And I think that is where Blackford wants to go. He wants to say, well, look, there is a chamber, we need a presence in there, we need to be able to influence the president, make it me, me. And that's what he's doing. I want a job for the rest of my life where I don't have to work and I can buy as much Greggs as I like. Also, my secretary will love it. Anyway, he told the Times he has no discussions. He says, and I'm not seeking to go to the Lords. He said the SNP has always refused to put any members into the House of Lords. However, if someone else nominated him, and that is also possible, he could be nominated in, say, the King's Honours list. It doesn't have to be his own party that nominates him. And wouldn't that be funny if someone like, for example, Rishi Sunak, he could do it on his resignation honours. He gets a resignation honours thing, doesn't he? When the day he resigns soon, he could nominate Blackford. Blackford could quite happily accept it. Now, he may have to give up the party, but he could still say, I've given up a party officially, but I will still work for Scotland. Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as he's sitting there in the chamber with his ermine and his pie. Anyway, Cherry shared the story on Twitter, which had the headline, In Blackford, why the SNP should stop opposing House of Lords membership. Well, only for him. The Edinburgh South West MP said, let me guess, could it be because you want a peerage? Blackford told the Times that a change in the SNP's position would be a question for the party, not a matter for me. He would jump at the chance. He would be up that so fast like a rat up a drain pipe, straight down to the thing, get himself his ermine, measured for that, measured for this, measured for everything, depending on what peerage he got. But it would be something nice, wouldn't it? It'd be, he'd want something nice and tasty. He added that he supported having a second chamber in an independent Scotland. And I don't blame him, because it's always important to have another layer of government where people can talk at great expense to the public purse. Yes, useful. That said, if you opened up a second chamber and said, right, it's a one term, you only get one term, you have to be voted in, and it's unpaid. You'll get your expenses, but it's an unpaid position. Tell you what, you still have a queue a mile long. You could fill it 10 times over. Because people wouldn't do it for the money, they'd do it for the kudos, wouldn't they? They'd do it for the bravado. Look at me, Ma, I'm on top of the world. Anyway, he said, we are opposed to the House of Lords as it is constituted, but if you get to a point of an independent Scotland, there is a legitimate debate about how many MSPs you need for a fully functional parliament. Now, that's weird, because you've got 129 MSPs, but only 5.5 million people. So that means what? Easy numbers, it's about 1 MSP for every 50,000. Let's not muck around there. The UK government has 1 MP for every 100,000 or so. So if you wanted to be representative in the same way, you'd have to halve the number and say you only have 60 MSPs. Well, if you've only got 60 MSPs, what do you need a second chamber for? You can maybe have 50 or 40, say 40 in the second chamber. They can be done on regional rather than constituency basis. You have 40 in there. They can't generate law. The second chamber doesn't. It just talks about the laws that are presented to it and goes, and changes and puts back. That's fine if it's unpaid or, just expenses only kind of thing. But another layer of government at great expense to the public purse seems awful wasteful, don't you think? Anyway, he said, I don't think 129 is enough. He said, would you have some kind of elected Senate in an independent Scotland to provide checks and balances? I think it'd have to be elected, but it'd have to be unpaid. And let it be not politicians, let it be members of the public. No one who's ever stood for anything higher than, say, local council. And that's it. And let the Senate be the real people. Let the Senate be people who aren't careworn, that aren't sitting there and professional politicians all the way up. Real people with real jobs who understand the real issues. That, then, is some kind of true democracy. Anyway, I shall round off and come up and wish Lord Blackford the very, very best. It would cause massive, massive ructions in the SNP. And that's why I think it would be a brilliant idea. What would they do then? Realising that, well, they've got one, they're going to have to start putting others up, wouldn't they? Just to stop Blackford. he'd become a wild gun, wouldn't he? He'd be gun for hire in the Lords. He'd love it. He would. He'd love it. That's why we must never ever really let it happen. He'd be awful, wouldn't he? He's already an obnoxious lump. How bad would he be being Lord Blackford? And you know, he's the sort that would insist upon being called Lord. He would, wouldn't he? But he would love it. He would love it. He must be really. It must really gall him that the party's official position is not to accept them, because I think he looks around, he sees all these people slowly over time disappearing as they all go upstairs, and he's like, "Why not me?" Chose the wrong party, sunshine. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and let's all hope that he does get a lordship. Someone's got to get it, and he's going to be paid out, money paid out anyway. So let's have a bit of fun with it and make him an SNP Lord and see the others falling over themselves to try and distance it as fast as possible. Till next time, bye.